creating mental health and awareness and sharing my life stories with autism, and also taking you all on a journey with tips and advice along the way. So I have been at this point of time been considering what to do, as you know, while it's Autism Awareness Month, and there has been someone out there by the name of Chris Hobson who actually threw 3 questions at me to answer to you guys, and hopefully in saying this that maybe you can agree to disagree or agree to disagree. Just remember, I'm open for the floorboard of discussion for these questions also that is going to be asked, as well as in saying this, if you want to, feel free to also comment below your questions that you would like me to ask you while this is the month of Autism and Awareness and Acceptance Month, because obviously I want to try and get as much out there. So the very first one was, what is the most common question you get asked about autism, right? As we know, we get asked a lot of questions out of maybe curiosity or out of ignorance from some people that ain't in the autistic community and whatnot of it all, but that's fine, because as I said before in one of my videos maybe last year from the Autism Awareness Month of what I've done, or either this year, I can't remember, but I'll link the playlist in so you can find it, that, you know, we need to raise awareness more as well as acceptance. But I believe that even though many people are lighting up blue, I still to this day don't know what this Light It Up Blue campaign is all about, because obviously, as I shared before in the last video, why I do not support Autism Speaks based on what I've heard about on the autistic community and based on my own personal research and whatnot. I've also done a little bit more onto that also in saying this like last year as well, which hopefully I'll link it in the description or icon above me so that you can get more to what I'm saying. So let's just get back to the question at hand. So the most common question I get asked about is, you know, what is like the difference between autism and autism, you know, autism and Aspergers I should say, as well as in saying this, basically how common it is. So I have answered the question about what is autism and Asperger's syndrome and the similarities and differences, which I'll link in the icon and in the description below, but I want to answer the one of how common it is of Asperger's, especially because obviously it's more common than autism than we think, because obviously autism occurs in about 4 out of every 10,000 children, and it has been estimated that Asperger's, however, are as high as 20 to 25 per 10,000 of those people that are getting that diagnosis. You know, whether this is due to an increased awareness of the condition or because it has become more popular diagnosis is to be remain to be seen, however, just to let you know. Another one I want to throw at you is about, you know, people with autism or Asperger's syndrome is like many people, as we know, basically are different on the autism spectrum, just to be on mind, because obviously now Asperger's is now known as autism for some apparent reason in the DSM-5, which the DSM-5 manual or what have you, I'll link above me or below me of what it's all about so that you can get a clarification. But then you got to remember that, like, just to give you an overview on this basically, like another one is, can a person with Asperger's syndrome despite or autism can develop a relationship that is normal? As we know, basically, as I said before, many autistics do struggle in the realm of social communication, social interaction with their peers by engaging with them, playing with them at a younger age and that. But as we know, basically, children and teenagers normally with Asperger's or autism are usually typically delayed in their social emotional maturity, per se, but with the help of the developing skills and relating to family members, teachers, friends and strangers or what have you in that environment, and just maybe just teaching them in general in the home or wherever, that the ability to develop the capacity for normal relationships can increase. And saying this, with the proper guidance, however, and assistance from the teachers, parents or whoever, those with Asperger's can develop a loving and intimate relationship for life. And another one also I want to put out there, even though there's a few most common ones, I want to put out this one more, is what I get asked is, does Aspergers syndrome or autism occur with many other disorders? Which I don't like using that word disorder, so it's like conditions. As we know, Aspergers syndrome is a distinct condition, however, but obviously it is possible for a child to have another condition at the same time. Because I said in my story, based on my diagnosis, after finding out that I was showing signs of Aspergers syndrome, that way back before then I was labelled as a bit of ADD, ADHD, dyslexic through a specialised team here where I am in New Zealand, which I'll link again my diagnosis story up above me or below me as well. But a recent study has shown recently that nearly 1/3 of children who have autism spectrum disorders, which includes Asperger's here, who also have the significant symptoms of ADHD. Oppositional defiant disorder, anxiety, depression, and specific learning disorders often are present in children with Asperger's, however, as well. Okay, number 2 on the list is, if you could tell everyone in the world one thing about autism, what would it be? There's so much I would like to say on this front, on this question that was given, but if it was just one thing, that we are not monsters, we are still humans. We are treated like monsters to this point of time now, because obviously I have researched up and heard about the worries and concerns for people on this community there about, you know, they're afraid to speak out because of the fear of what they may say could cause conflict of interest. And in saying this, that we know that at this point of time, that for some reason I noticed that they're trying to bring out, like, especially that mongrel mocking kind of autistic organisation that I shared about, of the Lighted Up Blue, or shall we say Autism Speaks, which again, as I said, I'll link it in the description, has said about that in the quota about I am autism, da 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 da, which you can watch that video that I had previously watched after this to gain a better understanding as well, while it's in the iCard or description. Also, in saying this, I'll link it in the playlist of certain things that might be of help to you guys today too, while I'm presenting this to you. Another thing I would like to bring out also in this second questions of the 3 that has been thrown at me is that I believe that in some ways, yes, we are getting a bit better in a way of raising awareness, but it's still a long way to go for many of us that are maybe advocating, educating you all based on our life stories with this condition we may have. And in saying this also, I feel that awareness comes with acceptance, and I feel that at this point in time, many of us autistics still ain't feeling accepted by our peers or by anybody for that matter, because obviously there has been some, like, stories I've been hearing through the autistic community about their sons or daughters that has actually been excluded in some groups in schools, or they've just been excluded from schools altogether because of, like, the lacking of understanding and the lacking of funding, as well as some materials to help with the children, which I'm hoping to share more about that later, hopefully, if I can do my research and find what I was looking for this in New Zealand, especially because at this point in time we are in dire need of resources, obviously, for sort of things, and obviously we're going the wrong way about it, I feel, because we shouldn't be excluding any children from any kind of condition, be it if they're autistic, be it if they've got Down syndrome, be it whatever other conditions that they may have, because obviously we have the right to, you know, have education, we have the right to learn, we have the right to basically be as normal as possible with the right to support people and whatnot, and a bit of patience and understanding and empathy from others will go a long way, as I said in one of the videos about inclusion as well. Social inclusion versus, you know, just briefly on it when I said about the concerns for the autistic community, which I didn't touch briefly on that topic about, you know, exclusion too much. Last but not least is, what is the big misconception that you've heard about autism? Okay, there has been a lot of misconceptions going around about, you know, certain things, such as the most common one that I have really strongly shared about autism and vaccines. Like, you know, I believe that, you know, it's not always based on these vaccines. As I shared in one of the videos, it has clearly stated that now. It could be in the genes, it could be something in the environment. They, as in, you know, scientists and everybody else that are trying to do their research, are still looking into the realm of what's actually causing autism and Aspergers syndrome. But I believe it could be a hereditary thing, based on my opinion. You know, it could be a missing link gene inside one of the, you know, parents of a generation somewhere that may have had it. But as I said, that it is getting better about some of the research, but not quite. And it irks me to the core about, you know, autism and, you know, the vaccines causes autism. It's like the saying goes, we need to do our homework and actually give out the right information. And I believe that many of the neurotypicals, I don't blame them for just being plain old ignorant about it, of what's going down. So this quickly ends basically the 3 questions, and as I said before, hopefully you're enjoying your Autism Awareness Week if you're actually watching some of us autistic YouTubers, you know, bringing out some information to raise awareness, or whatever our main goal is here for the week. Even though, like I said, hopefully throughout the year I'll bring out some more varied topics about autism and stuff. So if you want to, you know, me to do some research, even though I've got some requests given already, if you want to do so, link them below. And also in saying this, if you wanted to actually, in the near future, as I was planning, as I did a couple of times, I think last year, of the Autism Awareness Week, if you want to join on the bandwagon with those questions that are similar to those, which I'll hopefully find in the actual playlist, about the ones that did raise their hand up about, you know, talking about autism, and if you're interested in doing this as well, let me know also, so that maybe in the near future that can be another future project to raise awareness, as well as other people, as I shared before, that has different conditions, to raise awareness and understanding of it all as well, so that we can get our stories out there, because I'm all about inclusion, not exclusion here. So what I'm going to do also, guys, just as a heads up also before I go, even though it's my birthday today, which I'm hoping to, you know, when you watch this, be doing something over the weekend and maybe leading up to Monday, or just after Monday if I do receive enough questions from you guys to do, so to speak, you know, hopefully to raise a thing. And also in saying this, basically, don't forget I've got my merch online right now as well, so if you want to purchase something from my merch store, the link will be in the description as well as on the screen, hopefully. And then saying this also, I've started up a Patreon account just to raise extra funds on the side with the merch, hopefully, so that it can go towards my future projects of what I'm doing right now, be it, like I shared with you guys, future videos with you guys to raise awareness, some other future collabs that is in the mix that I'm hoping to plan out properly, which I won't reveal at this point in time until I do have the right, hopefully, equipment. And in saying this also, for the funding, if I get enough through Patreon, it's going to help me with stuff like my future recording equipment, hopefully maybe traveling, some parts of, you know, paying off my rent or whatever, as well as maybe just little bits and pieces of maybe if I want to travel outside of where I am in New Zealand in the near future to meet you guys. So what I'm going to do, guys, if you want to do that, that would be much appreciated, big or small, don't have to, there's no pressure. I'm sure you can find other ways to support me, either by sharing my videos around, especially to the important ones that you think are important, that you think needs to be shared, or what have you. But to the ones that has been joining me from the very beginning, I thank you all for actually, you know, doing this for me, you know, journeying with me. I know that sometimes I can be, as some people may feel, I'm a pain in the butt, maybe especially if you know me in general, than, you know, in the full screen. But other than that, you know, what it's all about is we learn together and grow together throughout this journey. So, and also to do, guys, thanks for support, thanks for watching, do what you love what you're doing, don't forget to follow me on my social medias, and smash the like if you like this, and I'll see you again soon. Ciao for now.